Greetings to all. It's December 24th, 2024. Merry Christmas, and I'm with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. This is his 99th Christmas. 99th Christmas. How are you doing today, Mr. Jeckovich?
How do I do today?
Yeah.
Well, they did good. They did good.
And did you have a special visitor today?
I had Amber here, and yeah.
His great-granddaughter, Amber.
And you had supper with us.
Yes, we spent most of the day
And
at his house.
and Jennifer too, Jen.
Yeah, we spent most of the day at his house. And Amber did some videos with him, which was a lot of fun. He had a nice dinner. And Amber had a great time visiting Mr. Jeckovich. Amber is a full-time missionary. I was looking at her passbook today, and it's stamped, every page is stamped. She travels the world, spreading the word of the Lord. She's a fine young lady, correct?
Yes.
She's a fine young lady, right?
Yes.
And even though Amber lives on the ocean, she's an avid surfer. She can roll out of bed and be surfing within seconds, literally seconds. But it's not good enough. She travels and chases the waves all over the world. That's what she does. She chases the waves. She just spent 3 months in California surfing in Malibu. She had a wonderful time there, and then she crossed the border and preached to young kids in Mexico and other parts of Oceanside, California. So she's doing wonderful things, but she does it side by side with surfing. So as we're experiencing some type of winter in Florida, in Australia, it's just the opposite. It's summer. So Amber will be leaving us soon. She's going to be first go to Martinique, and then she'll be going to Australia surfing for approximately 1 or 2 months. And then on the way back, she'll stop for maybe 1 month in Hawaii. So we're going to miss her greatly, so we're enjoying our time with Amber now on Christmas. It's very enjoyable. Does Amber keep you busy and make you laugh?
Yeah. She's a good kid, yeah.
Yeah. Did you like videotaping?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's that, and we wish her safe travels, and we hope she has a few more days to visit before she takes off. So, before I start reading your book, Mr. Jeckovich, what is your dog tag?
42965.
Okay. Mr. Jeckovich's dog tag number is the same passcode we have for the laptop. We pick it up in there, where we left off, and we start reading. Mr. Jeckovich is a highly decorated World War II veteran, and he fought, his last battle was the Battle of the Bulge, which was the bloodiest of the battles during World War II in the European theater. The Battle of Bulge was out. The American soldiers were outmanned. They never had an idea that Hitler was going to have at least 600,000 well-trained Nazi fighters and 6,000 air tanks, Panzer tanks, in the Ardennes forest to have something which was called his last-ditch effort of Hitler to kill more Americans and destroy whatever is left of Berlin and Bastogne, so that the Americans would not have anything left. It was called the scorched earth theory. Hitler was delusional. He was on his way out, and he wanted to destroy everything in his way. So on December 16th, Hitler attacked 100,000 American soldiers which weren't expecting this. These 100,000 soldiers were in that area were for rest and relaxation. They were beaten by the war, and this was the only time they had off to rest. So they were caught off guard. No one expected it. No one expected it. The generals had no idea. One of the generals was playing golf. The other general was at a wedding. Another general was at a fancy dinner. The only general who had an idea this was taking place was,
Patton.
yes, General Patton. General Patton was right there, but it was a little bit too late. 600,000 Nazi soldiers against 100,000 worn out American combat veterans. 4:45 in the morning on December 16th, 1944, 80-year anniversary, they attacked. And the only thing that was stopping complete slaughter of these 100,000 Americans were two things. It was the coldest winter of record, and also the forest is so thick, trees side by side that the tanks couldn't get through. So what took place was there was a pretty good massacre in the beginning, and the Ardennes is a very beautiful forest, beautiful sceneries, and they had 3 feet of snow, and walking yourself in 3 feet of snow is very, very difficult, but walking with heavy weapons and machine guns and ammo is almost like impossible. So that beautiful scenery we had of the white snow was all stained in blood. It was not just the blood of the Americans, it was the blood of the Nazis also. So the first 2 or 3 days was a complete massacre, but the American soldiers would not leave because they knew if Bastogne was taken over, the Nazis had a great big advantage, and they would not allow that to happen. So many American lives were sacrificed. 101st. Many American lives were sacrificed. And so now we're trying to send in recruits and air power, but the weather's too bad to send in air power. So the slaughter continued for 2 days. The slaughter continued for 2 days. And to make matters worse, behind the front combat lines, the medics, which were about 45 to 50 of them, set up emergency surgery units, and every one of them were captured by the Nazis. So that shut down everything. So if you got shot, if you're hit laying, you're pretty much on your own. But thank God, about 2 days out, the skies cleared, and the American troops were dropped, one parachute after another, thousands of them with ammo. And then the next day came food supplies, because the American troops were out of ammo. They were completely zeroed out. And so Mr. Jeckovich was approximately 200 miles away from Bastogne. 4 a.m., cold as hell. Patton gives the order, everyone get into the trucks. Hundreds and hundreds of trucks, like cattle cars, are standing up. None of the soldiers knew how even to pronounce Bastogne, or they didn't even know what country Bastogne was in or where they were at. They were just told at 4 o'clock in the morning, get your ass in those trucks. They stand up, truck after truck after truck, going towards the Bastogne. And so with the terrible roads and the terrible weather, it was at least a 10-hour drive to get to Bastogne. So now you picture you've been standing up in frigid 20 below weather, snowing, bumpity bump, every road's got big holes in it. And now you're in Bastogne, and you never had a chance to sit because there's so many men piled in these trucks. What you would do, you jump out and you'd be ready to fight. jump out and be ready to fight. The teenage military soldiers, combat soldiers, attempted to dig trenches and foxholes, but the ground was so hard. You could not dig a foxhole in that ground, right, Mr. Jeckovich?
No.
Too hard. So they'd use dynamite and blow up a hole, and now it didn't fit 2, it fit like 6. But what happened, once you have yourself a foxhole, from the ground water fills it quickly. So now you're cold as hell, and you got water knee deep. Not a good way to live. And most of the men were continually shivering. Shivering is a mechanism that the body puts out to stop freezing. But now all the shivering stopped, because if you don't have any food in your body for 48 hours, you can't, the body does not allow it to shiver. So it was a real mess. So finally, the score was evened up. Patton brought over about 1,000 tanks, 500,000 men, and the airstrikes by the Americans were hitting hard and heavy because the skies were clear. The skies were clear. And this bloody battle, probably the worst battle of World War II, lasted another 3 weeks. And Mr. Jeckovich and all the young teenage combat soldiers pushed the Nazis right out. But prior to that, a note was given to the commander of the American Army: we have you covered, we're going to kill every single one of you, please surrender. Surrender. And they had one response: nuts. They would never surrender. Americans would never surrender. They were gonna go down. They would never surrender. So what happened then? It even got the young guys more motivated to fight. They pushed and fought and pushed and fought. Casualties are extremely high. Casualties of medics are all captured, which were later killed by the Nazis. And so it was a really bad and bloody situation. But eventually, the Nazis start running, dropping their weapons like cowards, running, because they wanted their lives to be spared. So at that particular point, the 6,000 tanks, which they could only get about 1 mile per gallon, the 6,000 Panzer tanks were all out of fuel. They're all out of fuel, every one of them. The supply trucks that Hitler had with all the gasoline, they couldn't make it over the terrain. The Panzer tanks could, but the supply trucks didn't have the ability. They got stuck constantly.
They were going to try to take it from the Americans.
They couldn't make any traction. So their plan was to steal all the fuel from the Americans. Well, they miscalculated the determination and the strength of the Americans. They never got one drop. So these young guys like Mr. Jeckovich pushed these Nazis all the way back. They surrendered, they gave up their weapons, and shortly thereafter, Adolf Hitler committed suicide.
Yeah. 16 minutes.
And that was the end of the, for argument's sake, the war in the Pacific, the war in the European theater. So many of the young, then Mr. Jeckovich, Auschwitz, prisoner of war camps, they broke down the chains, they busted down the gates, they ripped the place wide open. After this, there was thousands and thousands of Jews that were still alive, and thousands of poor young American soldiers still alive, but they're down to 60 and 70 pounds. And you have to go somewhere? Where do you want to go?
Stay right here.
Okay, so they're down to 60 and 70 pounds. And Mr. Jeckovich, what was your instructions about greeting the prisoners.
Don't feed them. Don't feed them.
And why was that?
You destroy the whole system.
Destroy the whole system.
Yeah. John, you want a candy cane?
Huh?
You want a
No, no thanks. No thanks.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. How many minutes we got left?
We got 14.
Okay, I'm going to try to get in at least a couple pages of chapter 23. By the way, Mr. Jeckovich was with Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, be kind to strangers. You'll never know when you're entertaining angels. So here we go, page 697. How many pages are in this monster book?
Well, 849.
849, okay. Chapter 23, Wedding and the Poconos. After a while, she
14
released.
minutes, yeah.
After a while, she released her hold on me, smiled, and with her thumb wiped off the lipstick smear that she had deposited on my lips. She then asked me what she would.
Why don't we continue what we did yesterday where we were out in the snow?
Okay.
Yeah, that.
You want me to read the wedding today?
No, you know, we left off.
1 second. Let me just read this page just when one of the staff comes back and we'll get it out. Just give me 5 minutes because we're waiting.
Yeah, she'll find it, yeah.
Well, wait on the staff. She would be, because when I told you, when they go on coffee break, instead of one leaving, all six leave, so what the hell? Let's give it 5 minutes. She would be at the bus stop on Buffalo Avenue around 10 a.m. We would go there directly to my house and then probably to the church with my mother at 11 and lunch a little while after 1 p.m. We would spend some time upstairs until I left for work around 3 p.m. Then she was on her own.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And then she's on her own until we arrived from work a little before midnight. I asked her if she was apprehensive about staying alone with mother, and she responded immediately that she was not, and she was looking forward to it. She stated that each time she saw my mother, she became more relaxed with her and felt their friendship glowing and blossoming into a lasting relationship. So Delphine and your mother had like 50 years together, right?
Yeah.
They got along greatly.
Yeah.
Right?
That was the best thing for my mother.
And where did Delphine take her? Shopping and?
Shopping, when I taught her to drive, taught Delphine to drive, grabbed her all the time. They went to Buffalo and all over.
Yeah.
Canada, they went to Canada a lot.
And what did they get in Canada?
Oh, my mother liked the meat better there, and she liked the grocery better there. But Delphine wanted to go, so she took her.
When you got married, did Delphine continue to work?
Did you what?
Once you got married, did Delphine continue to work?
No, she quit.
Where did Delphine work?
W.T. Grant's.
W.T. Grant's was a major department store, started in the late 1800s. Hundreds and hundreds of stores. And they just couldn't keep up. Walmart came into the picture.
Yeah.
W.T. Grant's went. Woolworths went. Neisner's went. Sears and Roebuck's went. Montgomery Ward's. An interesting fact about Montgomery Ward's is during World War II, Montgomery Ward's was a major supplier to the United States government for miscellaneous items for World War II.
Yeah.
But once the big box store came in, like Walmart, they all scattered.
11.
If we stop it now, could be just leave it like this and he wants to watch something.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Jeckovich, would you rather play back the live video that we have?
Yeah.
Okay, we're to conclude this shortly today on...
We're out in the snow.
Yeah, and we're going to go back to the other videos we have of the snow, because Mr. Jeckovich wants to point out some spots of interest. So let's close it up today, we'll pick it up tomorrow.
All right.
Shut it down.